great to know the strength and the education and the experience that someone has. And so let's just take a couple minutes and do that, because it's really important. For me, a really big part of what has established me in creating this course is that I was a strategic business consultant for many, many years.
So Ed helps clients create great video content to promote their businesses online. He's full of character, charisma, and energy, which is great for his podcasts and his creative approach to content. But here he was talking about his credentials on a masterclass in which he wanted to gain clients. My initial thoughts, for this context, he had perhaps too much explorer energy. His movement is very busy, his eyes are darting around and not focusing down the camera. And all of this kind of high vibe approach is detracting from the importance of what he's saying. He's talking about all the companies that he's worked for as a consultant, and it's a really impressive list, but it's getting lost. I also noticed that the energy that he has makes him have a bit of a higher register to his voice. Now, this is fine for the short video clips that he does, but I wondered how sustainable it would be for participants to focus on what he's saying over a longer training period. So we discussed taking his status up slightly. He already had lots of confidence, but it needed stabilizing and focusing. And I also asked him to step more into his sage archetype, a slightly elder, more experienced approach. And the wisdom quality attached to this archetype had a byproduct of lowering his voice, and it became slower and melodic as a result. I also asked him to add the altruist within, Ed at his most compassionate, to create calmness and trust. And in the next clips, you'll see Ed working on these ideas and finding presence and authority as he does. Now, this approach will give Ed another string to his bow so that he can adapt his performance across different audiences for different effect.
It's still going at quite a lick. Okay.
Really? Yeah, that's interesting. Is as in like speed, you mean?
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, that is a challenge for me.
Okay, so
it is.
One thing that maybe might help with that is to bring your status up. At the moment, your status is quite, it's quite confident. Let's just try bringing your status up to a jack. Okay, so we'll just go up one more. We're just thinking numbers. There we go. You see physiology change there. Yeah, just by thinking that. The way you're sitting now is very strong. I don't know if you can see it on the screen.
Yes, I can feel exactly what I just did. As a matter of fact, yeah. So I was like this. Now I'm sitting up.
Kind of like you were like this, yeah. And there may be stages in the training and workshop where you go into that.
Yeah.
If you start with all of that, I suppose it's just how you want it to land, really, isn't it? It's kind of who you...
Yeah, it's really when you're doing a live presentation, I feel like I need to connect with people. I don't want people to think, wow, this guy's like way up there. I can't relate to that. Yeah. But I want them. Yeah. Anyway, this is good. I like it.
And you might want moments of stillness when you're talking about, your credentials and stuff like that. There may be points where you want that.
What do you mean by moments of stillness?
Holding yourself still as you're speaking, because when there's lots of this going on.
Oh, I see. Okay, good. Yeah, good.
It's actually distracting from your content sometimes.
Yeah.
What you're actually saying.
Yeah, very good. Yeah.
Yeah. There's some bits where that's fine because the content is playful, or you're trying to get them to be motivated or excited themselves. Then you might use that. But for this, you just want them to hear it straight and go, yes, I want to work with this guy.
I've spent many, many years as a strategic business consultant. Now, many people, including myself, I like to call it a trusted advisor, because when you're working with high-end companies, like you see on this screen, whether it's Wells Fargo or Boeing Corporation or like Sanofi Aventis, that's a company that's in Europe, it makes a really big difference if you come across with the confidence and the understanding when you're working with these leaders to be able to really help them with their businesses. And I spent 30 years doing that.
I spent 30 years doing that. And you paused. That pause is very powerful.
Yeah, I agree. That is something I need to focus on more. Because yes, I love that you're saying that. There's,
Yeah.
yep, absolutely. Yes.
I
Yeah.
want to try one more thing with you. I'd like to ask you to just do that bit again. I don't know how old you are, but I would like you to go 10 years older. So 10,
How old do you think I am?
I'm not going to say.
Come on. Come on.
When I say 10 years older, I mean 10 years more experience with
Okay, 10 years more experience. Definitely. I do not want to be 10 years older.
the energy that you have makes your voice quite high in places. And I think that's brilliant for podcasts and all that character stuff. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
But for this, can you just consciously think about keeping your voice lower and just see what that's like for you, just for you to try it? Okay, but carry on.
Like,
Center for a moment and then start. Yeah.
so the wonderful opportunity of changing from a major career into pursuing my passions, which I encourage everyone to do, is I had the opportunity to work for not only very interesting people, but also very interesting companies that were a surprise. And I know that can happen for anyone, but we all need to have the confidence and the strength in ourselves and know what we're doing when it comes to running a business to have these things happen. So, for example, this.
I'm going to stop you because I think that's great. That is fantastic. I don't know if it felt good for you.
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
Yeah. It's still the same voice. You're not losing your voice, your character in your voice, but it's got more weight, authority, and connection.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's going to be hard to change that. And you won't want to lose that in certain contexts like podcasts, fun, all of this. But when you're talking about your Me Too stuff and things like that, just being able to just tone that down, and the pace that you went there, it wasn't too fast. Some people you're going to have to work with to try and get some charisma to show. You've got loads of charisma, so that's there. You know, it may feel like to you that you're toning it down too much, who you are.
No, I don't feel like that at all.